Brose party, 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 brose party, 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 brose, 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 brose.
Welcome back to the Brose Project. I'm Cullen.
And I'm Chris.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Little bit of a crazy week in terms of work because I'm traveling so much now to go do some part-time work. I have to put all my shifts together, so I've got, I think tomorrow is my 7th shift in 8 days. That is just a lot. So I'm excited about a little break coming up this weekend. Anything else going on in your life?
Not much.
Okay.
Just keep on keeping on, I guess.
Keep on keeping
Yeah.
on. Okay. Today, what we're focusing on discussing is the some questions that we had from subscribers, some topics that we were asked to touch upon, and I guess we're kind of going back to the basics, discussing our friendship and stuff like that. But before we get there, I have to comment that your wife's mom, Yaya, is in town,
Yes, she is.
and she's in the background. I'm just hoping that we get some laughter out of her. That's the goal.
And if we do, you're going to thoroughly enjoy it.
It's going to make me laugh. So I'm hoping that happens. So Yaya, this is for you. There's a little giggle. It's very quiet. I want it louder. So, okay. Several people have reached out to me and kind of asked me like how you and I became friends. And I feel like to start that off, I'm going to just share some similarities, or at least things that I've noticed. Both of us have a history of, being, at a ranch. For myself, you said you grew up at a...
I grew up on a farm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Very basic. I mean, my grandfather was a veterinarian. He lived on a farm. The farm life. I came, until I was about 12 or 13 years old, I was there literally all the time. So that's how I came.
Like milking cows, herding
Milking-
sheep, stuff like that?
Feeding pigs.
Okay.
We used to ride along in the tractor, stuff like that. So
Okay.
yeah, good time.
We had we at the ranch for a long time. We had a chicken coop. We would get eggs from there. We had pigs in their own pen, and then we also had horses. But that takes a lot of like management, and we no longer have any of that now. The ranch is much more of like a family getaway. But yeah, so a similarity there. But what I want to get to is kind of like the friendship where you and I became friends, because we mentioned this on a prior podcast. We met at the gym. When I first moved here, you guys were going to a gym called Orange Theory Fitness, OTF.
Correct. Yep.
And we met each other there. I became friends with both of you all. I feel like I talked a little bit more to Dina at the time, or maybe I saw her more because she would come to the classes that I was at.
Or she just goes to the gym a lot more often than I do.
I wasn't going to say that. That is on you. But yeah, we've noticed that lately. I go to the gym now with Dina and your eldest son, because your youngest son and you decide to sleep in and be lazy. I'm just kidding.
It's possible.
But that's kind of where everything started. And then we would go to the restaurant on occasion, and we would see you guys, and your kids at the time were like little, very little, and they would like serve water. They were like little bus boys, and that's kind of the magic in this is because we watched them grow up from a distance, and it wasn't like we didn't become really close until later on. And I think one of the turning points for me was when we asked you all if we could host Jonathan's birthday dinner at your restaurant, and you all said yes, but you all were unfortunately out of town.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But you guys helped set it up, and which was magical. You guys helped us do something that we still remember to this day, because the food was amazing, the staff were excellent, we got taken care of, and I feel like that was a turning point for us, because we started hanging out more like individually. Like we would come over and just see you guys, not necessarily to eat.
Yeah, to hang out.
Yeah,
which is important. Obviously. Yeah.
And I feel like we would come over with the idea of like, hey, we're gonna go see them and just give them a hug, and we would stay there for like 2 hours, and we would just sit there waiting for you guys to get on break, or like have a little moment in between. I was gonna say patience. That's how in between tables, and be able to talk and kind of just discuss things. So the one time I came over, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because you all mentioned it, and I'm trying to give this to our audience, this experience, because I had no idea this was the case. But one day I went over and I needed to go shopping for an event. And it was a Valentine's Day event, and I wanted to dress really cute. And I walked into the restaurant just to say hi to you guys. And then close to the restaurant, there's a bunch of stores. And Dina and the boys came with me shopping. And I had so much fun with them. And I don't normally like shopping for long periods of time. And obviously, shopping is a very personal thing. But can you tell me about what
I
the
can tell you,
experience
I can
was?
definitely tell you one thing. This is what I'm going to tell you. My boys came back from that experience saying it was one of the funniest things that they have ever done in their life, and they enjoyed it so much. They were like, Dad, I hate shopping with Mom. She takes it so serious. You know, like you said, it's a personal thing. And, you know, she's always like, you know, do you like it? You know, and they said when she went shopping with you, you guys had the time of your life. You were laughing the whole time, and they couldn't help but not enjoy it for you guys, if that makes sense. Like with you guys.
And that makes me happy because at that time, like, you know, this was a couple years ago, and the boys were, you know, in their early teenage years, if that. I feel like
Yeah.
your oldest was, and maybe your youngest was even younger.
Let's say
than
they
that.
were 8th and 5th grade,
Yeah.
probably, or
And-
maybe a little older, but yeah.
But at that point, it was like I don't know how to connect with them, but they were laughing, I guess, about this, and
Yeah.
what I've come to find out, and what you asked me earlier was, do you feel that, like, if I felt like I acted different around the boys
Or me.
or you?
So, I remember we had had this conversation,
Yes.
and this is where a lot of this is coming from. So I feel like you and also Jonathan
Yeah.
always acted very different around when we were with the whole family, for
Yeah.
instance. You acted different than if you were just hanging out with Dina by yourselves.
And I had no idea that you all had felt that way, and I had no idea that happened. But Dina even mentioned it to me that, yeah, you were like, I would kiki with her and like be silly and kind of open
Right.
up. But when I was around you, that I would
You're like, you know, like up
butch
your
it up,
chest,
you know, and like, oh yeah,
or you call it butch it up, whatever
Yeah,
you
butch
want to
it
call
up.
it. Yeah, but and I always felt, and I remember, like we've talked about this as well, but I always felt like, was it something that I gave off
oh,
as like a
standoffish.
yeah? Did I give something off that that ever made you feel in that way, or the kids? I mean, the kids are just kids,
The
but,
kids.
yeah. But was there anything that I did to make you feel like you had to act different?
And it's funny because, like, I didn't even notice that was happening until it was brought to my attention recently, very recently. But what I will say in regards to your question is, it's not you, or at least in my experience. Like, I don't want. It's hard for me to open up. It is hard for me to be my true, authentic self around people, especially if they're even remotely perceived as a threat. And this comes from like my upbringing. This comes from my coming out process. This comes from years having to hide who I was, for fear of being judged, for fear of being ridiculed, for fear of being beat up, for fear of being rejected. And so, like, this was like I guess this age-old trauma that comes up whenever I'm around someone that I don't know if they're safe. I don't know if this is a safe space. And with Dina, like, I'm kikiing with the girls, and then I'm around you, who's this hockey player, grew up on a farm, I'm a man.
Well, that's not right. I'm not like that.
I don't know, but that's how I perceived you. Now I know you're
Okay,
not.
sorry. That's how you perceive me. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Now
I
I
can
know you're
understand.
not. Now I know you can, kiki. Exactly. And so kind of going back to our friendship, we decided for Dina's birthday to take a trip. And I feel like that was a huge step in our little family friendship relationship, because we drove in a car to Vegas.
Uh-oh.
I know we're not talking about it, but that is when it happened.
That is coming.
And I think that's actually part of why we became so close, because there was this like shared trauma. But it was
Is it a fight or flight
I
situation?
think it was a fight or flight
Fight or
situation.
flight situation.
And I think there was a little bit of fight. But what came of that was like we knew we could travel together. We knew we meshed well together. We knew we could laugh together. And I also felt at that moment like, okay, this is a safe space. I can be myself. Jonathan felt that same way because you and I were in the front seat. Jonathan and Dina were in the middle. The boys were in the back. And there was just a whole bunch of laughter going on.
It was like laughter / carpool karaoke / who knows what
Like
was going
trivia.
on. Trivia.
I mean, it was just so much fun.
Yeah.
Now that we've touched on this, like, and now that, I've known now for a while, this is a safe space. I just have a question. Like, what is your relationship to like the homosexual contingency of our community? Like, did you have any great friends growing up? Did you like what is your first interaction? Can you just talk a little bit about that?
My first real interaction, Dina and I went to watch a Greek concert, actually, of all things. And I booked a hotel, no problem. No idea that it was Pride Week. No idea. Like, when I say no idea, I mean, we showed up to the hotel and it was 100% gay men. They were at the pool. There was naked people everywhere. Naked people everywhere. Which, again, doesn't bother me. None of that bothers me. You do what you do. It's on you. One thing that was like so odd to me was that, Dina and I are walking through the lobby of the hotel holding hands, pretty heterosexual guy, and you're getting catcalled, like legitimate catcall, and it's very, very evident. And the older I get, I'm like, oh, it's just kind of like how they...
Are you sure they were catcalling you and not Dina?
Oh, I'm 99% sure because she was laughing the entire time. She like dropped my hand. She pushed me away. She was like trying to feed me to the wolves kind of thing. And I was like, please, please.
Save me.
I'm this big. She's this big.
Yeah.
And I'm like, please save me.
Were they hot? I'm just kidding. You don't have to answer that. Were they younger, attractive, shirtless?
It was,
paint a picture.
So again, at the restaurant, I get a lot of gay men.
Yeah.
They come talk to me. They compliment me.
Yeah.
Like in a very respectful way.
Yes, this was not.
It's very different when it's a man in a thong and like angel wings, like way
wearing
to
glitter. Like
what I'm trying to say.
Yes, like the pride kind of overshowing, your gayness, your pride for being the culture.
But on the other hand, I was also in their house. So you have to respect that. I didn't have any idea that this was going on. We came for a different reason. We just ended up being at the same time. So there was no anger or resentment, if that makes sense. It was just very, like, all I remember telling Dina at the end of that weekend was, I'm really sorry if men make women feel that way.
So like kind of the tables have turned.
Correct.
Like this... Now I understand what it feels like to be a woman being catcalled by a group of guys.
The typical stereotype of, catcalling a woman on the street or when you drive by, and it's not okay in either form, but it gives you that respect.
Okay. I see that.
Yeah.
I mean, and while I'm sorry that happened to you, I'm glad you see it the way you do now. Do you feel like if you were going to be catcalled again today, has your like kind of fear, like fight or flight, hold my hand, Dina, do you feel like you would react to it the same way?
As I get older, I'm definitely just more comfortable with who I am.
Okay.
And I will now, like, I'll joke around with them.
Okay.
Like, yes, thank you for that, but
yes,
never happening.
Yeah. Sorry.
Never. Sorry.
Maybe tease him a little, like, oh, you want this?
I dropped a pen.
Bend and snap. So okay, that's great. So, because I didn't have any gay role models growing up. I didn't have there was one guy, I think I talked about this before, like a hairdresser that I didn't relate with. What are your thoughts with your kids being around gay people in our culture? Because we live in a place that's a lot more open than some other places.
Yep.
And I think that our society in general is a little bit more open to, the fact that there are gay people even having children at high schools and elementary schools, and I feel like that is not an uncommon thing. What are your feelings as a parent?
As a parent, it doesn't matter to me. One, my kids have always been in the public. They've always been at the restaurant with us. They've always seen different types of people, whether it's gay, straight, doesn't matter. And there's one thing that we've ever taught them was you respect everybody until they don't deserve your respect anymore. It doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what your sexuality is, it doesn't matter. If somebody is nice to you, you treat them the way that you want to be treated.
Golden rule. Yeah. I love that. So and so there's no like, and I'm asking this kind of knowing the answer ahead of time, but like, you know, we have a close relationship, and I see the boys, you know, all the time.
Yeah.
There's no concern like, okay, you know, they've got gunkles. Like, okay. That makes me feel really good.
Oh yeah, well, you're saying on our part?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, absolutely not.
Because
No.
I remember the first time your eldest referred to us as a gunkle to his friends. Like we went to a soccer event and you guys weren't there, and we like went and bought some stuff from their table, and I remember Yane your youngest kid introduced us as his gunkle, and we left there and we were so touched that we texted you all like, oh my God, I'm close to tears because like, you know, you have good kids and we're friends.
But that's
with
who
them.
you are.
Yeah.
That's who you are to them.
Yeah. Well, that
so
that
it doesn't
feel
matter
good.
what other people think.
Yeah.
And my kids have been raised that way too. Like what you
Raised
believe
really well.
in.
Yeah.
That's what you believe in. You can't let anybody else tell you what you believe in.
Yeah.
And we'll go back to this because this is going to put a smile on your face.
Uh-oh.
You sent that text message to us like we're almost in tears. Yanni introduced us as the Gunkles. And we also got a text message from Yanni that said, hey, Dad, my teammates said the Gunkles are jacked. So nobody looked at your sexuality or the fact that you were two men together. They were like, those guys are ripped.
Go to the gym, bro. That's awesome. I mean, that does put a smile on my face because you know, that's not what they saw. That's not what the other kids saw. So that, you know, times are changing, I guess. And that makes
in a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah.
In this instance. But yes, I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful for our friendship. And I'm glad we were able to bring some of this story. Hopefully we answered some of the listeners' questions.
Absolutely.
And hopefully you have some more for us because we want to talk about things you're interested in, but we also want you to like and subscribe. It is free. So,
and you can also turn on your notifications so it notifies you every time there's a new video.
Ah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, this is it for today's episode. Make sure to follow on for the next episode.